What's up, everybody, and welcome to HCS Source episode number 9. Actually, today is number 9, and today is going to be a very juicy day. We've got so much to talk about today, guys. It is absolutely insane what is happening. We already had Rostermania once. We're going through Rostermania again, and we're going to dig into the details. With me, of course, I have my duo, my man, my partner, Tony. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. I'm really happy to be here. We have another HCS Source. Like you said, there's tons of topics that we have to go over. So I can't wait to get right into it. Today, I got to the stream a little bit today. I even made a YouTube video and whatnot. So I'm getting back on the ball with that a little bit. And I even got to take a nap. So right now you're getting fresh Tony, pure, unadulterated Tony right now.
I love it, man. I didn't get a nap today, but today was a very odd day for me. Lots to do around the house, and then Austin, our oldest, he's gonna be going to high school, so he had to do high school orientation, which is crazy. Carrie had to take him there, so I had to start the stream a little bit late, and then Carrie had to get a Chromebook for him because I guess like everyone in his grade is getting new Chromebooks. So she didn't want to wait in line because she wanted me to get to the stream. So she came back, got all the kids, went back out, and waited in line to get the Chromebook with the kids. She's amazing. Yeah, that's right, Tony. She's amazing. Okay, I said it. She's the best. But yeah, I love her, man. And I don't know if you guys were here for I think it was last episode or the episode before that. Tony roasted me, and then about like how can you disrespect Carrie like that, right? Because I said something about her age or whatever. And then on top of that, we're playing together. He comes into my chat while Carrie's in there, gets on call with me, and then tells Carrie on. He tells on me.
No, that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened.
That's how I remember it.
You brought up and you started it, and all I said was, I said, hey, look, I said I would never insult your family. I said, in fact, I even defended your your lovely partner and whatnot. That's how it got onto that. I'm just saying. You better treat her right. Because again, we boys, we bros, and like I told you before, I told you this before, you ain't gonna find no one out there as good as Carrie. So I'm saying you better act up. Keep it on the straight and narrow.
All right, I agree. I will. I absolutely will. She uses that against me all the time. Anyway. We've got a lot to talk about today. I'm very excited.
Hold on. You know what? No.
What? What now?
You've been driving the show all this time and whatnot. You know what? I want you to go into the passenger seat. You put your seat down, because you know what? Tony's taking over, right? We have a lot to talk about today, and and Tim's gonna sit back and whatnot, and your boy Tony's in the drive, so it's gonna be a crazy ride. You guys better buckle up. Your first topic of the day, because we like to keep things a little bit light to start it off. To warm up a little bit.
Yes.
And then we're gonna move to the nitty gritty, the real stuff. So to keep it lighthearted, I want to know, Tim, who do you think would win in a fight between a grizzly bear and a gorilla?
Ooh, I like that question. I actually like that question a lot. Real quick though, I just want to say one thing. For those of you guys that are coming in here and don't know what's going on, just a real quick, a little update for you. This is HCS Source, like I said in the beginning, but we're doing it on my channel today. Tony's allowed me to do it on my channel today because I started my stream really late, and I'm going to stream afterwards as well. So I said, Tony, do you mind if I do this way? And he was absolutely fine with it. Of course, he's the nicest guy I've ever met. But I will say that, if any support does come in, it will be split in half between me and Tony. So just letting you guys know, everything from this point on will be split in half between me and, of course, the best freaking caster in the game, Tony. But anyway, yes, let's go back to the question. A grizzly bear or a gorilla? I'm going to have to say a gorilla. Okay, dude, gorillas, bro, they're just beastly. They've got these big fists that they just walk around. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight a gorilla. A grizzly bear is real strong too. So a human versus a grizzly bear, I think that's a different fight. But we're talking about a gorilla, bro. Now, I don't know what kind of gorilla you're talking about, because there's many kinds, and there's some that are way strong. Oh yeah, 100% a gorilla, 110%. Grizzly bears, bro, they just want to eat food, bro. The only reason they go to these tents and bother all the human, they just want food, bro. They're not gonna eat a gorilla. So I think grizzly bear a lot more aggressive, a lot more fierce in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say a gorilla 100% for this one.
I should have done some research. First of all, I want to know who's bigger. Well, so
Yeah, true.
That's number one.
Right.
Like, who's bigger, grizzly bear or gorilla?
Right.
I don't know. I honestly don't. And when I think of a gorilla, I think of a wide.
Yeah.
You know, it's going wide. It wants to hug you, but I feel like a grizzly can get in there. Like I feel like a grizzly going for the choke.
True.
And while the gorilla's going wide, he can't get his arms around there. So I mean, in a stand-up fight,
True.
I think gorilla all day, but I'm thinking like we're in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? We're in the woods.
Yep.
And it ain't just boxing. You got to worry about the ground game. You know, you got to be up there. So. I almost want to lean towards the grizzly bear. I just feel like the grizzly bear is a little bit more versatile. In my eyes, it really doesn't matter because, I mean, if it's a fight between me and a grizzly bear and a gorilla, I'm taking both of them. I can take both at the same time.
Oh my word! And, you? Oh my word!
Well, no, now hold on. I'm not talking about me just going out there and bullying. A grizzly bear or a gorilla. Yeah. But I'm talking about like I'm stuck in the jungle. They're coming at me. Okay. It's survival of the fittest. Okay. I'm saying, you know, hunter versus hunter. You know what I mean? Like if they come at me and I have to fight for my life, I don't want to hurt an animal. I would never. Okay. I would never. I'm just saying, if it's predator versus predator, I come out on top.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you know right now. If we go on like a hike or something, bro, and like a gorilla or a bear come out, I'm leaving, bro. Like obviously you got it.
Don't even leave.
All right,
What? Either sit back and watch the show or help the bear. Like you might need to help the bear because in a fight against me against the bear, it's just unfair. I'm telling you right now. Because that's what I'm saying. Like the problem is that when you think of a grizzly bear and you think of a gorilla, you're just scared of their pure power. What I'm saying is that a gorilla's never been put on its back before, and I'm saying I've never met a gorilla with BJJ background. Like, name me one gorilla that has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Name one. I can't think of one. That's what I'm saying. So if it's, I'm not standing up with the gorilla. I'm not going blow for blow with one. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna slam it on its neck. I'm gonna full mount. Make sure you get the hips around the gorilla's hips, and I'm gonna limit its movement. And I'm gonna make sure at that point I'm just raining down punches. And I know a gorilla's big. It may not hurt at first, but eventually you just keep hitting the same spot. And eventually that gorilla goes down. I got a game plan. That's the problem. The problem is that gorilla's not going in with a game plan. I got a game plan. So when I put that gorilla on its back, it ain't going nowhere. Simple as that.
You sound really confident, Tony, but I'm going to have to ask the chat. Like, listen, this guy streams every single morning at 10 a.m. He does this thing where he lifts weights for subs, guys. You're going to have to blast those subs at him, bro, because there's no way, dude. He's going to need all the workout he can get. I'm running away. I'm running away like so fast. You've never seen a fat man run as fast as me, bro. If I ever see a gorilla or something. You know, apparently, actually, I saw a TikTok where this, I think it was a grizzly bear, was like walking towards his family, and the dad's like, don't run. Because I guess if you run, they think you're scared. But like the grizzly bear is waddling nice and slow towards them and just keeps following them the whole way. I'd be running, bro. I'd be going as fast as possible, man, to get out of that situation. Absolutely no shot. Anyway,
when you back someone against the corner, that's when you find out what they're really. I'm saying, so you know, back in the day, I believe Garrett told me about this story. So in the, I think it was the Romans, I think it was, or the Spartans, I don't know what it was. They were backed against the wall, all the way up against the cliff, and at that point, they had nowhere to go. They couldn't run away. At that point, the only place they can go was forward. Right. That's what I'm saying. You back me against the wall, gorilla, bear, rhino, it doesn't matter. At that point, it's hunter versus hunter, and it's survival of the fittest. And I come out on top. So simple as that.
Tony, Tony, a rhino, bro? Oh, my word. Oh, I think that's even worse. I don't know. That's crazy. You're nuts. Be my bodyguard. There you go.
Guys, we have an incredible show for you. That was just a warm-up. The bear was just a warm-up for the main fight between me and the gorilla, and that was just a warm-up for what we're about to see here on our main topics. And topic number one is already a banger. Tim, I hope you're ready for this.
I'm ready. Absolutely ready.
Space Station Gaming, as talented as they are, deciding to drop their entire roster. And seemingly coming out of nowhere. I mean, we're talking about Orlando's right around the corner. Worlds not too far away. There's hop, skip, and a jump, and we're gonna be at Worlds. And as of right now, SSG decide to drop their entire roster. I know they've been underperforming. We know what the potential are. this is going to be a multi-tier question, so I'm going to start off with that. How do you feel about Space Station Gaming dropping their entire roster, literally just a month, maybe less than a month before Orlando?
So this has been so for assuming the rumor is true, this has been in the works for a little while, but I think the breaking point for this squad was obviously not qualifying for that Open Championship. I think that, you know, I ended up watching a stream. I tried to get you to watch it, but you were grinding, you were popping off on Halo. It was awesome. But Elamite was talking to Snakebite. Snakebite, you know, offered to help Elamite. Elamite asked for help to watch some VOD review, you know, to look over some games of the I believe it was of the open tournament where they got knocked out, and just asked him what he thought was wrong. And let me tell you something. You could hear in Elamite's voice, you could hear just the stress when he was talking about it, because, you know, Snakebite would say things like, this is where you guys have to watch VODs. And then Elamite's like, no, we don't do that. They don't want to do that. No one wants to watch VODs. And I'm like, wait, what? A professional team that's getting on a salary doesn't want to watch VODs? And he says, yeah, like some of the players don't want to watch VODs. That's what he was telling Snakebite. And
Who's some?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know the names of the players that didn't want to watch VODs, and I don't want to call it out like I know. I don't know. Maybe it's still back in the VOD. Maybe I missed what he said, who he said, but regardless, I think that's inexcusable, especially when you're on salary. But I will caveat that by saying, when you're not getting along with your team, when you don't have that chemistry with your squad, you don't want to spend extra time with your squad. And that extra time is so very important, right? So that's where no one's finding success. On top of that, he talked about their communication. There's got to be small talk here. And then, you know, Elamite was talking about a lot of blaming happening and stuff like that. Let me really just put this out there and be very clear. There's always two sides to a story. But at the end of the day, Elamite decided to drop his roster. Now, we've talked about Kuhlect not being happy. You know, obviously, he's gotten out of the situation. Snakebite, you want to know something funny, Tony? Snakebite was talking to him, but Lottie was in the chat as well, and she said something that you said in the past. You guys got to have a talk, and I think Snakebite said it, but I think Lottie said it as well. I'm not sure exactly, but either way, you guys got to have a talk, and I think that's exactly what happened. We talked about this like 3 episodes ago. The team has to have a talk and figure out what's going on. You said it, and they finally did that, and guess what? The entire team's dropped. Like the absolute entire team. So
now, do we know that was it an Elamite decision, or was it an org decision? Do we? Because I don't know where Elamite stands in this. Right. I don't know if he's still with the org or if he's not. Do you happen to know by any chance?
I do not know. I actually used to talk to Elamite a lot. I don't really talk to him anymore. Once he stopped, I'd send him a DM, he didn't respond. I kind of let him go because it's like, okay, you know, obviously the guy's busy or whatever. So I don't know, but thinking about the situation and thinking about the fact that Elamite went to Snakebite about the team, said to me that he had some pull there, and the minute he heard something, you know, the minute he heard Snakebite's opinion on it, this was all live, dude. It was actually very informative. Like, Snakebite was talking about everything, and it's crazy because I loved it because he was talking about a lot of mental things. You know, a lot of like, hey, when you're down in a game, you got to be able to have someone say, hey guys, we still got this. And guess who was saying it the whole time? It was Elamite. Everyone else was really negative. The coach had to step in, you know, to say, hey guys, we still got this. We're still in this game. So we wanted to see a lot out of SSG. Sometimes when you stick it out that long, the chemistry doesn't work. And we talked about honeymoon phases. They had one when they first got together with the 4 that they were, and then they just couldn't pick it up since then. And so it had to happen. The fact that it's happening right now, like you said, right before Orlando, is tough. Like, that's going to be a blunder, I think. But anyway.
So, because we have a lot of topics to cover, I'm gonna try to keep myself quick, even though you know I love to hear myself talk.
I went a little long. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. What you had was great. It's tough for me because with Space Station Gaming, I had so much expectations for them. You know, I've said it numerous times. I felt like they were my dark horse team to pick. Going into these tournaments, I feel like if they were playing at 100%, I feel like this was a squad that could have consistently at one point gotten top 4 consistently. Like, I had them walking into any tournament, you know, guaranteed. You know, again at their best, guaranteed top 8, fighting for top 6, and then a legitimate stretch goal into making it to the top 4. That's honestly why I had them. And eventually even better than that, like where G1 are right now is where I had the Space Station Gaming roster.
Okay.
And sadly, they never got the chance to reach that. And we saw moments of brilliance, high highs. We also saw some extremely low lows, losing to teams that ultimately they had no business, winning, losing to. I talked about it last week. You brought up the fact that they beat out Anime Demons, and I legitimately laugh. Like, I'm over here like that to me is not even on that to me is not even on the ranking on where I put them. So I'm over here. I laughed. I'm like, good. And they beat out Anime Demons. Fantastic. What's next? They're gonna beat me in matchmaking? Like, I just legitimately didn't care because my expectations for them are so high.
Yeah.
And obviously, they didn't hit my expectations and either their own. And and it sucks. I literally I can't say that I'm surprised by this. And the one thing I do know right off the rip is that this squad is amazing.
Agreed.
And they're individually talented, so they're going to find homes. They are. Kuhlect is going to be just fine. We're going to talk about him later. Suppressed is going to be just fine. We saw what value he added as a pure damage dealer, and having a beautiful pure shot for the roster. We saw what he did on SSG. We even saw what he did alongside Suspector on Exit as well. Tylenol is a stud. 1.76 KD, I believe, at Kansas City.
That's
nuts. You can't ignore that. Yeah. 8.5 horizontal and vertical. So like a mouse and keyboard, he can affect the game in a way that no other low sensitivity player can.
I agree.
Because he's everywhere. Mm-hmm. And his ability to stay alive, his ability to steal kills from his teammates is incredible. And then Ace, who had a little bit of a lower season at the beginning, but just being an objective player and whatnot, but really started to step into his own. And when he started to, like he said, started to get some power weapons. When he started to get those slays, SSG almost seemed like they were figuring it out. Like Ace was actually playing lights out and better than I've ever seen towards the latter half of their tenure. So they're going to be just fine, even though it's not going to be together.
Right.
So with that, I reported this morning. I put on my reporter hat. I reported this morning. I got from a trusted source, a verified source, by the way.
Yep.
Said that KCP reached out to SSG to acquire their roster.
Ooh, okay.
SSG showed no interest at first. However, recently SSG reached out to KCP with interest.
Ooh.
And KCP was already in the final moments of finalizing a deal with another roster who we now know by Jake Lucky to be native, by the way. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But
interesting.
So how do we feel about SSG? Okay, KCP going after them. SSG then dropping the roster. SSG reached out to KCP, and then it's almost too late.
Yeah.
So it's something they want a KCP. And then I'll throw in with that, now Space Station Gaming eyeballing the Pittsburgh Knights, I'm hearing. You might be hearing it here first, guys, but I'm hearing that they're eyeballing the Pittsburgh Knights. And I actually even saw on one of the Twitters where SSG said we're looking to sign somebody or something like that, and then the Pittsburgh Knights put the little eyeball emoji afterwards. So they're having a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
What do we think about that? And I'll leave it at that because there's more that goes on to it, but I don't want to give you too much. So to summarize, SSG reached out to KCP, being too late to do so.
Yeah.
Then we see ultimately KCP kind of going a different direction, but now SSG going a different direction as well, going after the Pittsburgh Knights. Tim, what are your thoughts?
I'm glad. I mean, I always said, like, listen, this year competition globally is insane. Like, we had Quadrant and Ascend at KC, like, playing phenomenal Halo. And, Pittsburgh Knights at their event as well played phenomenal Halo. Tapping Buttons has already inched into the NA scene. He was on EG in Halo 5, if you guys remember. He was on Evil Geniuses with Roy Lunchbox. And I believe, what was it? He quit the game. What the heck? I forgot his name already. He quit the game. He was great. Commonly, I think it was. Yes, Commonly.
Now Ali. Now,
yeah.
But
right.
Nothing.
I don't think he plays anymore. But I mean, the Tapping Buttons is a great player. I'm glad they're looking outside of the U.S. because there's a lot of talent out there. We saw it in Barcode. Barcode's coming over, from Australia, and getting onto G2 potentially. It's not officially, a thing yet. They're not officially signed just yet, but there's talent out there, and I'm glad that an organization is seeing that and they're capitalizing on that. That is awesome to me, and I think it gives them a lot of potential. I'm excited for this roster. If they do pick up the Pittsburgh Knights, I'm very, very excited for SSG to see where their future lies. I don't think it's going to be, crazy this season, but over time as they grow, we'll definitely see some great stuff from these guys if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot going on, man. I'm not surprised that Space Station Gaming didn't hop right onto the train signing Kansas City Pioneers. Because I mean, they still felt like they had a great squad. Like, again, SSG's potential is up there. They're damn good, or at least was. And mind you, by the way, they're allowed to explore options, so it's not like all said and done that they're officially dropped.
Right.
Like, I'm actually hearing rumors that maybe SSG are going to double back with Kuhlect and try to build around him. Ooh. Now, again, I don't know. That's unverified at all. Unverified source right there. I'm just going by what I'm hearing on the grapevines, little Twitch chats here, yada yada yada. But it's been going around that maybe they double back. But after we move on to the next round of our talks, maybe that's not true, because there's a lot going on. By the way, guys, Roster Mania Part 2. Get with her. Get the out of here. So Native. It sounds like Native going to be fielding 2 rosters. KCP. Or old KCP, and then their roster including King J, by the way. So
awesome. That's good.
2 rosters going into Orlando.
Good news.
I can't sit here and say that I'm surprised. Like I said, they didn't go after KCP right away, but I will say the Pittsburgh Knights are good, man. This is the #1 team in Latin America. So right off the rip, that's going to be huge for their sales. Let me tell you, Latin America has an amazing market. Mexico City was incredible, and it's only including Mexico.
Yeah,
we have an amazing Colombian market that were phenomenal players. I believe Johan and Pelu, who's on Pittsburgh Knights, are from Colombia, and most of that Cincinnati roster was forced to then move from Colombia to Mexico just to compete in these. I'm telling you, the Latin American region is not only good, they're passionate, and it's going to be good for SSG Skins. I'm sure they're already doing good as far as their sales, but it's going to do even better if they pick up. Because you got to think about all of Latin America. They're sitting like, where's our representation? Yes. You know what I mean? Like once that goes in, dude, them sales going up. And the grinders, all of the, I see Cincinnati all over, not only their tournaments over in Latin America, but they crisscross applesauce into us. I see them in the esports arena tournaments. I see them in, these $1,000 here. So they're getting valuable practice while also getting themselves a little bit of money as well, and just getting better and better. I like it.
Yeah.
SSG seem like they're scrambling right now, and they may be, but you know what? Yeah. Like Tony Romo back in the day, he made his career off of scrambling. He out here scrambling. He threw better off of his back foot than he did his front foot. So some people, they thrive in it,
I hear you.
And we're gonna find out. And I like that move. And again, we're just gonna build off of this. So we know. So we know Native Game is looking to field 2 rosters. At least the rumors say. And Jake Lucky's tweeting this out. So this is a good source. Apparently, I think his sources are the same as mine.
Yeah.
And he got a name. All I was told was a top 16 roster that wasn't partnered that was signing cases. That's all I was told. He came with a name. And who the hell were Native Gaming, by the way? God, they come out of nowhere. Where that money coming from? Oh my God, I'm about to find out.
They got Valorant as well, I believe. So yeah, those guys got some sort of something going on. Yeah.
So now we move on to Roster Mania Part 2. Now I want to talk about players specifically. Kuhlect,
spicy.
Right now, as we speak, Kuhlect is scrimming with the old KCP roster. Actually, just ended, excuse me, but scrimming with the old KCP roster, soon to be Native. Ooh. Soul Snipe, Druck, Talik, and Kuhlect. All playing together. Tim.
Dude.
I need to hear your thoughts. Look at that smile. Look at that smile on your face. You like that. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you the floor, but that big old smile on your face, I know you like that.
Dude, I love that. Okay? Like, I absolutely love that, because we already know that this old, we're going to call them soon-to-be Native old KCP roster, are the most aggressive roster in the game, right? So, no, bringing on Nick didn't really do a lot for them. They kind of struggled. And I've always said, like, those 4 that stuck together so long, they hit their ceiling. I think that was it for them. Like, it was it. It was smacked. The ceiling was hit. That was it. There's nowhere. They couldn't get any better than what they did at KC. There's no way, right? They had to change something. They try and bring Nick on. for Manny. And now, you know, Nick didn't work out. You saw that they were not playing comfortable at all. I think Nick had a completely different play style than these guys. I thought it was going to work with him. But now they've got the fastest player in the game, a player who's up and coming, a player that I've constantly said is like a young Frosty. He's got a lot to learn, but he's got the basis. You can't teach individual skill. You cannot teach that. You can teach smarts. You can teach knowledge. You can teach all of that stuff. That's why players that come from free-for-all, I know Kuhlect is not a free-for-all player. He made sure to correct me, and I get it. But like players with the individual skill can get on these rosters and grow. We saw that in APG coming, back in the day, coming from free-for-all and then growing into the player he is today. He's incredible today. Very smart player today. Like one of the smartest, I would say. So the Kuhlect being on this squad now, they're back to comfortability, but they still have someone fresh where the chemistry is still new. And I always talk about vibes. I think they're very important. Kuhlect being on the roster, maybe he gets along with these guys a lot better. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe he felt attacked on the SSG roster constantly. Always told that he's doing the wrong play, regardless, blah, 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 blah. And, when we were watching Snakebite review that, he was saying Kuhlect was doing great plays, and he's like, where's his team? Why isn't this guy looking, or this guy pushing, or this guy communicating? Like, Kuhlect is insane. We're going to see his skill level rise with this roster. If he actually makes it on the roster, we're going to see his skill level be magnified. We're going to see what he's really capable of on this roster because he's going to be able to play comfortable because they're all playing at the same pace he is. And that's what makes it exciting, and that's why I'm smiling, because I'm excited now for this new, native or old KCP roster. I'm excited for this roster. I think they have the potential to now their ceiling is much higher now. It's so much higher. You've got the individual skill that I think Manny had. Manny, I think, is one of the smarter players in the game. But then, I like I've said it before, and I've said it again, I'll keep saying it over and over. Kuhlect's skill ceiling is way up there, dude. It is so high in the sky, man. He's got so much potential. And if he reaches that potential, maybe not this year, maybe not at Orlando, maybe not at Worlds, but if he reaches that potential in Season 2 of HCS, oh my word, we have a scary roster here. Very, very exciting.
I just want to make it very clear that this is not an official roster update, by the way. Just want to make that very clear.
Right. Scrimming is very it's very trial,
Yeah, and I will say, I always say it. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
I say it all the time. And your time in this industry is a commodity, and nobody's wasting it for no reason. Like they're not just scrimming together for no reason. It's a trial, and it's to see how this works. And I loved King Nick going to this roster on paper. I really did. I thought they were phenomenal, and I thought on paper what King Nick would bring to the table might have been exactly what KCP are looking for. But you know what I also do with papers? I chucked them, and the eyeball test tells me that Kuhlect would be amazing on here. So I don't. When it comes to this old KCP roster now, maybe soon to be native, maybe, I don't look at the stats because the stats are going to be so skewed.
Yeah.
KCP are a team, or now new native. I don't know what the hell to call it.
Just call it KCP. It's all good.
They're a type of team that you can outslay them and still lose by 3 caps and capture the flag. They're the type of team that you can outslay them and still lose by 70 points in strongholds. They're a team where you can outslay them and in an entire series and still lose it. And not in 5 games, you would lose it in 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the stats over here like, what the hell happened? When it comes to KCP, what SoulSnipe brings to the table it cannot be measured by stats. He is the most annoying player in the game. The plays that he makes are in the objective category are unseen throughout. Again, I remember back in Halo 5 on Coliseum Flag. If you guys remember Coliseum, they have the same opening strat. You know it's coming, and you can't do a freaking thing about it. It's crazy. 3-man push over towards the snipe side. You had that 3-headed monster flying at you, and then you would see SoulSnipe curve slide right down the map, all the way over towards the opposite side, and you have 3 players pushing you. You have to dress on the snipe side immediately, coming over towards your cave. You can't get that cave presence so easily. And then as you're trying to fend them off, as you're going 1 or 2 down, coming off a spawn, all this crazy, everything's happening all at once. Bullets are flying. You're in freaking war. You're in the trenches, Tim.
Right.
And out of nowhere, all you hear is flag, grab.
Yep.
Flag, stolen.
Flag
and
capture.
now while all of this is happening, you're in the trench, you're dodging bombs left and right. Now you have to not only alleviate the pressure that's coming on one side of the map, but also deal with Soulstime, who's running the flag on the opposite side of the map. They're not even together, Tim.
Right.
They're not. But so how do you measure that in the stats?
You don't.
How do you measure that type of pressure that KCP are able to create? And mind you, sometimes they're winning the numbers, sometimes they're not winning the numbers, but that flag still gets captured, Tim.
Right.
And when they start off as a 1-0 lead, now things start to snowball. The comms get energized. They're playing for each other. They're making sure it's you can grab their flag. They're overextending and grabbing your. I can go on to the squad. I can go on about the squad forever. So I don't want to disrespect stats because I think stats are very important.
I do too. Yeah.
But I also think that they don't tell a full story.
Right.
And what some players bring to the table can't be measured in the stat sheet. And the way Kuhlect plays, I love SSG's blueprint. I think SSG kind of remind me almost like a little bit of a United type of team. And I love their blueprint. I play like them. I don't know if maybe Kuhlect was the best fit on that team.
Right. Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with skills. Tylenol is so skilled. Suppressed is so skilled. Ace is skilled and so is Kuhlect. But at this level of gameplay, sometimes just a difference of philosophy and game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why this team didn't work is because they just weren't the right fit. Doesn't matter how talented you are. It might be a situation where it just wasn't the right fit. But maybe, just maybe, this new native roster is. Guys, we talking about Kuhlect. I mean, we talk about him fitting in on this old KCP roster, going to native gaming. So I guess now we got to talk about King Nick, because where's King Nick, you're probably asking. King Nick has been seen scrimming with the FAZE roster.
Ooh-wee.
I'm going to say that again because I like that reaction.
Oh,
King Nick was
gosh.
scrimming with the FAZE roster. So Falcated, Renegade, Spartan, and King Nick. King Nick, longtime duo of Spartan, by the way. Even on United, but also friends outside of the game. They're both Jersey boys. You know, they cut from the same cloth. Tim, tell me a little bit about this roster and what are your expectations?
All right. So for those of you guys wondering, who is not scrimming on the roster? If you have King Nick there, who's not scrimming on the roster? I mean, I mean, it's pretty. I'm pretty sure you could take a pretty good guess. It's Snipedown.
Oh,
Towie. Yeah, no, it's Snipedown. And for me, I'm not gonna get it I'm not gonna get all like into my story. I'm not looking to play the victim here or whatever. But Snipedown's dad passed away, and I had my dad pass away as well, so I know exactly what that feels like. He said that he was gonna fully commit to Halo for his father, and I give him so much props and so much respect for literally going in right and doing this and playing Halo. And doing the best he could, and trying to just stay positive. It's a mental battle with Halo sometimes. We all know this. We all play the same game, right? But he wasn't passionate towards the end. Towards the end, he needed a lot of breaks. You saw like some of his stream titles, like I'm taking I'm nice and refreshed, and he's trying to come on. And I don't know what roster he's if this ends up going through again. This is just scrimps. Just want to make that very clear. It's not official. None of this is official at all. But I hope if he does that, not end up on this roster, I hope he finds a home. But I got to talk about King Nick, man. Oh my word. If you are on Christmas night, right? The night before Christmas, and you're putting presents together. You got the wrapping on there. This is the best gift you've ever had. And you just got the wrap. You're taping the wrapping on it. You wrapped it, right? It's all done. And you put that under the tree. You're going to get some subpar reactions. They're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for this gift. They're going to, rip it open, whatever. If you put a bow on that present, that person's not going to rip that present open. He's going to take the bow off nice and slow first. He's going to respect the gift, and then he's going to rip it open. King Nick is the bow for this team. He ties them all together. He puts this squad we talk about the glue. He's the glue that this squad needed. Snipedown's playstyle didn't really work with this squad. He's that back player. He's trying to put damage in. He's not really playing aggressive. It didn't work. Halo Infinite is a game that's played at a fast speed. And there's only 2 teams that don't play it that way, but also still win, I will say. Sentinels and Cloud9. Those are the 2 teams that are calculated, and Snakebite talked about this. They play slower Halo than any of the other teams in the circuit, right? But King Nick is that aggressive player. And I said this when he joined KCP. I thought that aggression would kind of fit because he knew when to slow it down as well. But the fact that he's the duo with Sparty, the fact that Sparty's got his duo back is so incredibly important for this squad because it just gives you that area of comfortability of someone who you've built chemistry with and you spent a long time with. You know, United, they were together for a long time since the beginning of the season. They've got multiple great placements. They were 2nd, 3rd, then 4th. That's pretty dang good, right? And now they're back together again. That chemistry is going to be able to bleed into this new FaZe roster, and I think it's what they needed. I've talked about the FaZe roster. I understand Snipedown. I think if he was really passionate about Halo, he could make it work. I think he just lost that passion, and it's hard to get back. You can see how frustrated he is, and I can't speak for the man. I'm not the guy. You know, I'm not going to speak for him, but he didn't seem happy. And now there's a new player in town, and I think King Nick is a grinder. I think he loves Halo Infinite, and I think he will come into this team, and if they're scrimming together, and I think they'll start to see more wins. FaZe was already looking better, by the way. Like they were starting to, if you look at Halo Data Hive, they're starting to win some scrims. They're starting to put some games on the board. You know, they started off against I think it was Cloud9 or Optic, I think 12-1, like 4 scrims in a row. That's rough, but like they're starting to look a lot better now. And I think King Nick again is the bow for this roster. He's what they need. I can't wait to see the scrim results. Again, it's just scrims, but we know King Nick can perform on LAN as well. We've seen it time and time again. And again, the Sparty and King Nick duo is my biggest point here. That is going to be huge, and it will bleed into the new roster.
I was kind of talking to Maddie Rums, by the way. Maddie Rums runs noobcombo.com,
great website.
NOBCOMBO.com. If you guys haven't checked it out already, you're doing yourself a disservice. Make sure you follow them on Twitter. Make sure you turn those notifications on, and make sure you stop by the website. And I'm going to quote Maddie right off the rip. Imagine Renegade Spartan Falcated wanted Bubu Dubu, but FaZe said no and kept Snipedown.
Yes.
Only to drop him after one tournament for King Nick.
Oh, man.
And again, this is a hypothetical.
Yeah.
But Bubu Dubu did say in a tweet, by the way, he did say that he missed out on the opportunity to be on the best team that he would have been on in his life. Oh, sounds like Renegade Spartan Falcade and Bubu. And he even said the team wanted him, but due to some, I believe he said complications. I think he said org complications. He's now looking at new options.
Right.
Bubu Dubu goes to G1, and Bubu Dubu on the damn revenge tour, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Just starts going off. We saw a different, a motivated, a dynamic, a dangerous Darth Bubu the Dubu, as Garrett would say. And it's just, I mean, he's been incredible on G1. A 2nd place finish. Even before then. A second place finish at NA Super.
Yes, yeah.
Even before then was playing absolutely lights out. Bubu Dubu on this roster would have been incredible. Because the one thing I feel like this team is missing is somebody who's not afraid to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
But on top of that, can be a bit of an IGL in the comms.
Right.
And I think Bubu Dubu can fit that well. And by the way, I thought Snipedown could as well. Because again, I talk about it all the time. I think Snipedown's
good mind.
First-person shooter IQ is highly underrated. But I guess, but Sadly, I even seen him IGL in a few Apex tournaments, by the way, which is really tough to do in my opinion. I think IGLing in Apex is a little bit tougher than in Halo, because in Halo, I feel like if you're on dead screen, everybody should be IGLing. The moment you die, you should immediately become a coach on that dead screen. But I'll save that for another time. Either way, King Nick is phenomenal. And I think he added value to KCP. And maybe could add that same value, if not more, to this FaZe roster. Because when I think of Renegade, Spartan, Falcated, damn it, Tim, I don't care who you put on the roster. Put King Nick, put me, put Sutter 2. I don't give a damn. That team needs to find success, no matter who it is. Yeah. I truly don't care. And I say it time and time again, King Nick is incredible.
Yes.
He's a very big swing player. He can swing momentum in his favor when the man is popping off. He's the one getting those incredible double and triple kills out of nowhere when his team might be down numbers to equalize the situation, to stabilize his team. I think King Nick is a great player, and maybe he's exactly what FaZe need. But I still think, I don't know if King Nick is an IG. I really don't. And if he is, great. But I really think someone needs to step up in that IGL role.
Yeah.
And that's also what I want to see as far as FaZe. And whatever, no excuses, bro. Just get the damn thing done. That's all I care about, man. You're freaking FaZe, bro.
Yeah.
Like FaZe up, step up. Like my stock is plummeting right now. I'm blaming the FaZe. My FaZe stock is plummeting right now. It's in the damn toilet, and I'm just holding on to dear life like a running back going down, in the bottom of a mosh pit of 7 people, and I'm just holding because I'm like, please, FaZe, if you win Worlds. Oh my gosh. I'm just holding, bro.
Just hold on, man. Hold on.
The ball. I ain't fumbling, baby. There's 9 people dog bottles on top of me. I don't care. I ain't fumbling.
Oh man.
But right now, FaZe are fumbling the bag, and hopefully King Nick is what they need to get in the right direction. And again, not official. And they're trialing with him. Maybe they try with somebody else tomorrow, the next day. But whatever it is, you figure it out. Because Orlando's right around the corner.
Yeah. Worlds
is not too far away from that. We had a giant gap between, Kansas City into NA Super and then into Orlando. You throw a stick and you're gonna hit Worlds right from Orlando. It ain't far. So whatever it is, figure it out, and there's gonna be no excuses.
I gotta really touch on it real quick. I do think it's crazy to think about that. Like you said about bubu, I didn't even think about that. That didn't even cross my mind. Like, the person that they kept on the roster is now gone, or potentially not. This is all potentially gone, rumored to be gone, and bubu is now solidified and just dominating with G1. Imagine what FaZe could have been with bubu, man. And I'm not saying King Nick can't fill those shoes. We don't know what King Nick will do, but it's bubu, man. So anyway, that's my thought on that. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
And since we're talking about bubu dubu and G1, by the way, I think we do have to mention that Optic Gaming, who G1 have been recently really playing Optic Gaming well online and in scrims.
That's awesome.
I will say Optic 10-2'd them just today. Nobody on G1 able to sport a 1.0 KD or higher.
Oh, interesting.
And Optic looking dominant, which again, I mean, I'm not gonna put too much into that, because right now Optic are playing like the best team in the world, the favorites going into Orlando right now. But over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 scrims, G1 have played them so well, and as of right now, Optic are just looking dominant. And
Optic
maybe has something to do.
I was going to say Optic 10-0 KCP as well, with that new roster that we just talked about with Nick on it. They 10-0'd KCP.
Freaking Optic.
They're so good, man.
My 10-0 final boss next. I don't know.
Oh, my word. That's never happening. Never.
Shotzi, you can get it too. Everybody getting hands right now. Optic handed out. Optic just hand out ass whoopings left and right.
Hey, Tony, I have to lay the, don't talk about final boss that way, okay? Don't ever.
I'll do it.
Ever bring up final boss. They never go down, bro.
FB and FU.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you. Where's Tom? Ogre 2! All right, anyway.
And maybe their newfound success that they're finding in these scrims, or even more dominant success, has something to do with GAs. By the way, guys, we don't know. We're going to talk a little bit about GAs. GA standing for Gentleman's Agreement, and all it means is you're agreeing to play a certain way or to eliminate a certain mechanic or option, I would say, in the game. Both teams agree to do it. It's not necessarily a rule, so you cannot be disqualified for not following the agreement.
Right.
But lots of times we do see ramifications such as blacklistings and different things like that. But either way, right now we already know the teams have been GAing the Mangler for quite some time. Recently, they added the sword and the drop weapon mechanic in combats. That's where we're at right now. Tim, what are your thoughts about GAs? Are you hurt right now?
I'm not hurt.
It looks like you got something to say, bro.
I do.
I'm just gonna pass you the floor. I don't want no problems, guys.
So here's the deal, okay?
God bless.
Mangler, I understand. And let me preface by saying I understand the sword, and I also understand the drop weapon. I get it, okay?
You're an understanding guy.
There are very powerful things in the game that are being utilized to kind of like a get out of jail free card. The drop weapon, a get out of jail free card when you're shooting the stalker and you can't hit that 3-shot perfect. The sword, a get out of jail free card. If you miss position, you can pretty much, not even if you miss position, you can pretty much hold any position on the map by playing an angle with a sword. I mean, we know how many, cuts and curves are on each map on Halo Infinite. I understand. And you know what? I think the sword could stay. I just want to make this clear. I think the sword could stay if you could trade melees with it. I think if you can trade melees, the sword is fine. But you can't trade right now at all. And that's ridiculous. And that's what makes the sword overpowered. There's no trading. There's no way. Like, a sword player can be one shot. He swords you, you melee, he's still alive. Doesn't matter as long as he just reacts within the freaking 20 million seconds he has to react. So the sword can be changed, and I think it would be fine. Obviously, the Mangler's very powerful. Even with the changes, I think it's still a little bit powerful. I think with drop weapon, it's very powerful. I think without drop weapon, it's still pretty strong. And I get all these GAs. Drop weapon, like I said, get out of jail free card. You're in a situation where you miss shots, you can drop weapon, it's over, right? And that screws up the dance in Halo, in my opinion. But here's my caveat to this. You cannot, I am not a fan of doing this before Orlando and Worlds. I'm not a fan. You had the Mangler GA'd all season long, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now we're GAing other things and adding to the pool of it all. But I will say, most pros, I believe, most top teams have agreed to this. So in that case, I'm okay with it. I'm not a pro player. My IQ in Halo is pretty good because I'm a caster, but it's not a pro IQ. Okay, I can be the first one to say that. Tony will probably be the second. But so the fact that they all agreed on it, that's fine. And that's okay. I hate that it's coming 2 months before the end. Like I think we should just left it in Mangler and let the season play out, because these two changes are going to change so much. But at the same time, playing the other side of the fence, it's going to make these two tournaments so much more interesting, because we're going to see potentially teams play faster or potentially teams play better with these changes. And that's very exciting for me. So those are my thoughts on it. That's my full thought process on the whole thing. I'm okay with it all. I wish it wasn't done right before the season end, right before Orlando and the biggest tournament of Halo Infinite, but everyone's agreeing on it, so I'm cool with it.
I was actually hoping that we would disagree on this hard, and I will combat you on one of your statements. I will, but before I get there, guys, we are running a bit low on time, so I'm gonna open things up. If you guys have any questions at all, we're gonna start the Q&A portion of this. Ask your questions in the chat, and I'm going to and we're gonna address that.
Okay, can I say one thing quick? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, of course,
okay.
of course.
There's a lot of new people in here that have never seen our show. We don't normally do it on this channel. HCS source in the chat. You will see the Twitch channel that we use for HCS source. We now have 7 subs total from Devoted. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate that. HCS source. You can see it in the chat there. We have a YouTube. I put this on Spotify. I just added it to Apple as well. So Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, it's everywhere. It'll be uploaded tomorrow, just so you guys know. So if you missed some of it, you want to listen to it again, it'll be on the podcast tomorrow. We do this every single week on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern live, and then I upload it the next day. We don't normally do it on this channel. I know we got a lot of people in here. We normally do it, like I said, twitch.tv/HCS source. So make sure you guys follow that channel. Okay. Anyway, Tony, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'll start with the Mangler first.
Okay.
And a lot of people, because I say that I agree with the GA on the Mangler, a lot of people assume that I just hate the Mangler. It's not true. I love the Mangler. I do. And I just think that it doesn't work for competitive right now. So I think we GA it until we're able to truly address the issue, the elephant in the room. The Mangler is not a commando. It is not an assault rifle. It's not a plasma pistol, and it damn sure ain't a pulse carbine. The Mangler closely resembles to me a shotgun, because I think it's as effective as a heat wave or even a bulldog. It's nasty, and with its mid-range capability, it's already dangerous in the hands of anybody diamond or up. Mm-hmm. It is an absolute power weapon in the hands of anybody professional. And so my fix for it is, if it closely resembles a heat wave, if it closely resembles a bulldog, why not put it on the same timer? Why not put it on the same restrictions as only having up to 1 on the map, maybe 2? Why not have only 1 clip of it? If it closely resembles a heat wave or a bulldog, closer than a damn commando sidekick or a freaking pulse carbine, why not give the Mangler the respect it deserves? That's my thing. Yeah. I'm not. See, everybody takes the negative route when it comes to the Mangler. What I'm saying is that we've been disrespecting the Mangler. We've not been giving it respect. So why don't we respect it as it being close to that heat wave or that bulldog?
I like it.
When it comes to the sword, I don't care what you like, Tim. I'm joking. I love him. That's my brother. My brother from another. I love Tim. I'm gonna be honest. I hate the sword in competitive. I always have. Some of my chat did bring up a really cool idea of having HCS skins.
That would be sick.
like having HCS colors with the sword. That'd actually be kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie. But as far as the sword in competitive, I hate it. And I'm hard with the GA.
You would have hated Halo 2 then. Oh my word. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I will say I loved Halo 2. I loved Halo 2 and Halo 3, the sword in it. But you have to understand that where the sword is right now, if you combine curb sliding, sprinting, the ability to use the grapple with the sword, the ability to use the repulse after sorting one, repulse the second one just to get that sword swing animation out and then back into the sword. When you see where we are in Halo Infinite, the sword is even stronger than it was before. I'm not even just talking about sprint, which by the way, by itself makes it absolutely insane. And then the way the maps are formulated, like we're not talking about midship. You know, every map has one doorway that you go out of. Like every map is like. Have you ever noticed that? This is the only Halo where there's just one doorway. Like you just have 3 people try to stack one side of the map, and all of them try to go through one doorway. Like you go first, no, you go first. It's single file line. It's the stupidest thing sometimes, and it's something we've never actually seen in Halo before. I never realized that. Like when it comes to Halo, like a lot of your exit points are wide open.
Yeah. But
in Halo Infinite, it's a little bit more realistic where everything is a door and you just walk out of the door. And I never realized that before. I'm like, it's more realistic, but it's also really kind of bad for competitive play. But it just the way the map design, just the combination mechanics, just makes the sword so powerful. Like you said, with you not being able to trade 95% of the time, it makes things really tough. Now, again, even though I'm hard against sword and competitive, I'm also I also an understanding and a reasoned person. I know what it means to the casual community, even to see it on the broadcast. So again, if we can make it to the point where you can trade with it and lessen the ammo, I'm down. Yeah. I'm actually down to keep this one. I won't like it, but I still am down to listen and to make adjustments. And I think that's one thing that we don't have in our Halo landscape is people are one side of the fence and you're not even listening to the other side.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not even think about it. What if you were a lawyer or a debater, or we'll say lawyer, and you go into an argument and you never even listen to the other side.
Yeah.
You don't prepare by knowing what their talking points are, and you don't even try to understand their point of view, because you cannot be a lawyer and win your case unless you can know what your opponents are going about with their topics and be able to understand where they're coming from.
Right.
When you do that, that's how you get a jury on your side. That's how you get a judge on your side. And it's just, I think we should approach these things like a lawyer would. You have your side, but just listen, understand, be an open mind, and just see it from another perspective that isn't your own. I'm a competitive player, bro. We make up 1% of the freaking market.
Right, I agree.
You're telling me that that us as a 1% of the market can't just at least listen and try to understand the other side of it?
I agree 100%.
I say it all the time. You have two sides in a situation. You have A, C, and then somewhere in the middle is B. Somewhere in the middle, there's a middle ground that we can reach. And I feel like I'm willing to listen to the sword. Drop weapon, I'll be honest, I love the drop weapon. I think there's pros and cons to using it. But again, same thing. I understand where the pros are coming from. And at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, if I'm in ranked, I'm gonna be drop weapon all day. It's so hard to try to track that. I'm willing to GA the sword and the mangler and not use those unless the enemy team does.
Right.
As far as drop weapon, I'm not trying to keep up with who's dropping or not. I'm gonna be using drop weapon. But again, I understand from that side. And on the pro level, like at the end of the day, I also think about it like this. As a viewer, not for your comments, as a viewer and as a fan, that shit does not concern me. I'm sorry to curse, but Tim, what the hell do I care that the pros who are playing for thousands, sometimes millions of dollars, want to make sure that the game is as fair as possible? Because us as a fan, no matter what, we're gonna get an incredible product. They're gonna put on a show, and we're gonna love every damn minute of it. And then on top of that, if it opens up the map and gets them to play better, as long as all of them agree, and gets them to play better, faster, and more free, that's even better for us. Like, bro, I'm a fan, and at the end of the day, the product is gonna be amazing. And as long as the pros agree to it, and I'm good with it. Like it doesn't affect me, and if anything, it's probably going to make it better. Because guess what? Catalyst really opens up when you don't use a sword. Catalyst really opens up when you don't use a sword. So I kind of went on a couple of different directions with that.
Oh, you're good.
And I know we're getting close to the hour, and I'm gonna leave this up to you, Tim. No matter what, we're gonna do a Q&A afterwards, as long as you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
15 minutes or so, if you're okay.
Absolutely.
Can we dedicate 5 minutes or so to talk about twos in Halo? We
Sure
might go
thing.
A little bit over the hour. Is that you think that's okay?
I think it's very important. Yeah, twos is a great.
So, okay, cool. So update comes in, ranks reset, and we have ranked and social twos in Halo right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. Tim, take the floor.
I love this. Okay, now there's one thing I
don't. You're a liar.
No, there's one thing I don't love. Number one, Catalyst. I am sorry. All right, I'm so sorry. I have to say it.
You love Catalyst.
I hate it so.
Say it. No. You say.
No,
I love Catalyst.
Listen,
say it.
I hate Catalyst more than I hate broccoli, bro, and that's difficult for me. Okay, like I hate Catalyst. I think it's a great flag map in 4s. I think it does not belong in 2v2. And roast me, put me on whatever you got to do. Burn me at the stake. It doesn't matter. I hate Catalyst. I don't want it in 2s. But that aside, we'll just pretend that that's not even here. We'll just take a blind eye to it.
70%.
Yes, 70% weighting from what the Halo.api said. I don't know if that's changed. But that aside, I absolutely love 2s. I don't know what it is. If it's something new, you know, I've been getting freaking, I don't know, ramen noodles every day for, you know, the past 9 months. And then all of a sudden I got like, you know, filet mignon on my table with some mashed potatoes. I don't know if it's brand new to me and I'm like, wow. But Tews is so much fun. I was streaming it today and I was having fun. I was playing with random kids that I never talked to in my life. I think one of them communicated. He sounded very nervous and I'm sorry that he was, but, it was so much fun. I think I lost a lot of my games. I went back down to Plat 6. I'm Diamond 1 again now. But I just had a blast today streaming Tews. And I did not think that I would like them in Halo Infinite. But I'm really enjoying them. And I think it's a blast. And it really kind of makes you... It activates your thinking a little bit more than 4. Like 4, okay. So in a competitive environment, like in a scrim or something, I think 4 is way more difficult. There's a lot more... things on the map to pay attention to, et cetera, et cetera. But I really love the 2v2 dance. I love the, you know, the thought process behind bait and switching and kind of just having 2 players to worry about. Like I said, my Halo IQ is okay because I'm a caster and commentator and it has to be. But it's a lot easier for me to track 2 players and make plays around 2 players and 2 opponents other than 4. I love that. And the ability to carry is a little bit easier as well. As a you know, in a 2v2, which is even more fun. So that's my thought on Tews. I think it was a great addition, you know, I'm excited to keep playing it.
All right, so I'm going to talk about Tews. But before I do that, by the way, guys, question and answer section. We're going to answer. We're going to ask a few questions in the chat, and we're both going to answer. So if you guys want to be involved, and by the way, those watch on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, if you happen to be available on a Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, make sure you guys stop on by and watch us do this live at twitch.tv/HCS Source. That's SOURCE, and you guys get involved with this question and answers section as well, because it's going to be a separate video or not recorded and put to YouTube whatsoever. Tim, I'm going to ask you while I do all my little soliloquy, if you can scroll up and
absolutely.
Maybe try to find and copy and paste some answers and put it into our document.
Sounds good.
When I'm coming from it's so funny. I'm bad at Tews. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Tews is not my skill set whatsoever. In my opinion, with Tews, you have to be very confident in your gun skill so that you can play a bit faster and play a bit wider, and I'm not very confident in my gun skill whatsoever. With that being said, I love Tews because Tews is just almost Halo in its purest form. Number one, it's easier to find one partner than 3. So right off the rip, Tews is already great as far as you know, just playing more and just having a good time. It's fast paced. It's wide open. You have the entire map to your disposal, so you can really utilize that movement and get freedom. And then those individual plays that you can make, dude, those individual plays that you can make can turn the tide, that you can punish your opponents. It's so beautiful to watch the dance of Tews. I think it's really good that we brought it into ranked. Is it going to be the saving grace for Halo? Probably not. But at the end of the day, I'm still happy that we have it right now. And I think it's playing an important role into the comeback of Halo. So I'm happy. I'm hoping that maybe after we're done a little Q&A, maybe I get to jump into the battlefield with Tim for a little bit and grind some Tews myself. Again, like I said, guys, I'm not good at all, but I really do love it. I really do enjoy it, and I really do love playing it. I even played some solo on my stream, and it was really fun. So Tews is back, guys. Make sure you get in there. Don't be discouraged if you rank low. Even Frosty ranked at Platinum 2, which, by the way, I ranked at Platinum 3 yesterday. So with that being said, if A squared plus B squared equals C squared, I'm better than Frosty. Make sure you keep asking your questions in the chat right now, guys. I'm going to answer a few of them. And guys, that's going to be pretty much it. Tim, do you have any final words for this? Again, for the Spotify and the Apple, we're going to have a second half of this going to the Q&A, but do you have any final words?
So yeah, I ended up getting 3 questions from the chat. I was not reading Twitter, Lithics. That's right. I'm going to call you out on stream, okay? I was not reading Twitter. I love what Tony has to say, but I digress. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's supported HCS Source, and we got a lot of the subs on YouTube. People are listening to it regularly. I had someone ask me to put it on Apple Podcasts, so I did that. It took me 4 hours to do that. Just want to let you know. Yeah, it was a tough one, but we got it on there. I don't actually have an Apple Podcast link for you guys. I'm sorry. I'll get that added to the description and all that stuff. But I just want to say thank you to all of the people watching, and make sure you guys follow us on social media. Tony, he's grinding every day. He gets on stream at 10 a.m. He's always on at the same exact time. You can always depend on him being there. He doesn't miss a day ever. So show him some love there. He also does a weekly type update as well on his own YouTube. So show him some love there. And of course, just support HCS Source as well. I just appreciate seeing all the comments and all of that on our videos, and knowing that people are actually listening and watching. So yeah, thank you again. Make sure you catch us live Wednesday at, of course, 10 p.m. Eastern, and then Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We will upload this, like I said, to YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Podcasts. Catch us there, and we will see you on the next episode.